I'm Eric NeSmith. I'm publisher and a partner of The Bitter Southerner. It's an independent media company. We're based in Athens, Georgia. We publish a magazine 3 times a year, books every year. I believe we have 13 titles now, as well as, in addition, we run a retail store that has t-shirts, flags, prints, towels, you name it.
I'm Dink NeSmith. My hometown is Jessup, but we currently live on a farm east of Athens in Oglethorpe County. I'm retired president and co-owner of Community Newspapers, which publishes newspapers in the Southeast.
There's a love of storytelling that runs deep in our family, and I believe that's initially what hooked me, is listening to all the stories and hearing them told, and then retelling them and laughing and connecting. And the most important thing I've seen in that side is being able to build the community around that. So I think one of the most powerful things that we do in storytelling, and of course in Southern storytelling as well, is weaving those tales together that bring people together in ways that you may not expect.
I am a gray-haired blind hog that found an acorn. I didn't know I was going to be a newspaper man. I had no idea, but the idea presented itself, and within 2 weeks, I was neck deep in newspapers, and that was 55 years ago. I love what we do. I think it was divine intervention that got me to do this, because nothing in a community is more important than knowing about itself. And we've been doing that for a long time. And of course, as Eric said, I grew up in a family of storytellers, going back to my great-grandparents, sitting on the front porch in rocking chairs after dark, before air conditioning, before television, and listening to the stories. And today, I'm always looking for the next story. There's a story in every life, and generally there's a book in every life. You just got to take time to dig it out. My grandfather, my mother's father, invited me as a 3-year-old to ride with him around the farm, and he brought me back in just a few minutes and blew the horn, and he said, Essie, come get this boy. Hal, why? Why, Hal? I'll never get my job done. He asked too many ding-bob questions. So I guess it was just destined that I'd be asking questions the rest of my life.
I feel I am fortunate, and I realize how fortunate I am now. I'm raising my own 2 kids, so I can think about growing up and hearing the stories, but also all the questions and seeing it. But being immersed in it, of course, is where I was able to find a passion for it, and being able to continue to tell those stories and do it. I think there was never a dull moment. As you can imagine, there's always something going on. I too kind of got that curiosity bug as well, and so I'm always curious to ask questions and to learn more. And I think we're also, both of my parents are lifelong learners, and having that instilled in me at an early age of showing that there's always something new to learn, push and grow, that had a big influence on me.
Well, the future is always a challenge, because you never know quite what's around the corner, but I'm very much old school. I want to write my own words. Good writers, and if I ever get to be a good writer, it'll be because I've got a good group of editors who coach and make it better. But I hope we never substitute a robot for what we do person to person.
But I think one of the great things we have seen is when we started as a digital publication, and then launched our first print issue in 2021. So we've been doing this now for 5 years in print, and that was one of the greatest responses, and I guess most reassuring responses, is to see how well that was received, where there was something about what we were writing, what we were putting into print, our readers are holding on to it and they're using that as a way to unplug. I think we are bombarded, and if you look at our industry and really just as individuals, everywhere you turn, I mean, you're hit with a million different things. And so being able to always be in front of the screen, taking a minute to step back, we're seeing that resurge more. And that is promising to me.
Yes, yes. We're bombarded with so much information from so many sources, but I tell our young folks on our staff, if you really want to be paid attention to, try something very unique in this new world. Let's get out a pen and some paper and write a handwritten note to them and stick a stamp on it and send it, and they'll save that, where your email will probably get deleted before they go to bed tonight. I have shoeboxes full of handwritten notes from mentors, and over the last 50 years, my mother, until she died at 90, got up every morning and wrote 5 or 6 handwritten notes. And I have a doctor friend who was going through a rough patch, and he took me to his office one day and he pulled out and he said, I probably got 300 notes from your mother over the time. And he said, I use these in staff meetings. I pull them out and we say, what does Margie have to say today? And again, I probably got 1 million emails somewhere out in my cloud files, but I really treasure those, that somebody took the time.
So I think as long as we're doing our jobs, going out to find those stories and to tell them in a way that is intriguing and build that connection, there's always going to be that feeling. And that's what we have to work hard to do,
That's
to
right.
not let things become so homogenous where that's I think what we see so much of, is it's the same thing, but it's just scripted in various different ways, but there's not that central point of connection. And so that's what our job is.
And of course, again, there's so many sources to get your news. We're basically local newspapers, but we take great pride. If a national or international event happens, we try to find a way to bring it home. When 9/11 happened, we had a young lady from Jessup, was living in New York, and she was sleeping late and had her window open and she smelled smoke. She got up and looked out and she saw the second plane hit the tower, and that was on Tuesday, paper day. By 2 o'clock, we had an eyewitness interview quicker than any other newspaper in the country. So we brought that home because she called her mother worked at the clerk's office, the mother called us, boom, we were setting up the interview. And that's how you bring it home to what people are talking about at the drugstore.